friends, a big loving welcome to our very own channel Ammu&You, where I am Ammu and I am here to tell you beautiful stories. Stories from all around the world, stories written by so many authors. And today, the story that I have for you is named Heart of Gold, written by V.P.Minocha. My parents decided to send me to my uncle's place for a while. They felt this would help me to be disciplined. Study seriously. I've placed high hopes on you, my child, warned father as I was leaving. Don't bother your aunt and don't play with the bad boys there, was mother's parting advice. I don't want you to get spoiled, said she. At the new place, I felt lonely. For a few days after returning from school, I stayed at home and spent the time doing homework and revising my lessons. Soon I made friends. All of them were fond of playing games. We went to school together and came back in a group. The temple priest gave me sweets every Tuesday that I really looked forward to. The carpenter made a gulli danda for me. You know a gulli danda? Where you play like a tip cat. The blacksmith gladly sharpened my kurpi. You know what a kurpi is? A small spade with which you dig the soil. The blacksmith gladly sharpened my kurpi, but I liked Fakira, the chowkidar, most of all. And who's a chowkidar? A chowkidar is a guard who watches for us, our buildings, our houses, the premises. I liked Fakira most of all. He loved children. We all enjoyed his jokes. His voice was husky and he had a shrill laugh. One evening I came home late. Where have you been all day? Asked Aunt sternly. I went with Shankar to his fields. I replied meekly. I didn't want my aunt to get angry. You're in our charge now. I won't allow you to neglect your studies, she warned me. I opened my satchel and started studying. If you do this again, I'll have to tell Chacha Chowdhary, she continued. I looked at her but did not dare ask who Chacha Chowdhary was. Have you seen Chacha Chowdhary? Asked Shankar on the way to school the next morning. Chacha Chowdhary? I was surprised to hear the same name again. Who is he? I asked. Look there. He pointed towards a nearby field. I craned my neck. A big, able-bodied man was fighting with a bull. He was pushing the strong animal. On the way back, I asked Shankar about Chachu. Chachu has wild red eyes and a wide jaw, said Shankar. And he is so very strong. Dalipu confirmed Shankar's description of Chachu by imitating his waddling gait, while Ahmadi added, Chachu is 6 feet 3 inches tall and quite fat. The strongest and the most feared person in our village, said Reenu. No, not only in our village, but in the whole area, right up to the canal. No one dare oppose him. To make his point, Shankar emphasized every word. As we approached the house, I saw Aunt standing at the door. I ran home without even saying goodbye to my friends. I had some milk and quickly sat down to do my homework. But Chachu remained in my mind all the time. Chachu is the most feared person in our village. I repeated the words to myself. At night, I asked Uncle about Chachu. He's a brave man with a lion's heart, said Uncle. He killed 3 dacoits who who had come to loot our village once. He killed them alone? Yes, no dacoit has ever dared to come anywhere near our village after that, Uncle said proudly. Then he must have got a big prize for bravery. Would you like to meet Chachu? Asked Uncle abruptly. No, I'm afraid of him. I don't want to see him, I said, frightened. Uncle laughed, but Aunt suppressed her smile. I also came to know that the village Sarhala was popularly known as Khuni Sarhala because of the murders that had taken place there. For a while, I felt ashamed of studying in a village with such a nickname. Who wants to be associated with a village with that name? One day, while returning from school, we saw a man digging a grave. That was the first time I was seeing a grave. It was a deep, dark pit. At noon, one Sunday, when everybody was indoors, I decided to dig the ground in front of our house. What are you doing, dear? I heard a throaty voice. Digging a grave, I replied without looking up. I was sure it was Fakira. For whom is this grave? For your ghost, Fakira. But I'm too big for this small grave. I'll cut you into pieces. And a resonant laughter followed. I turned. It was Chachu. I couldn't find my voice. Why are you upset, my dear? He asked affectionately. I ran for shelter, leaving my kurpi and chappals, my footwear, behind. I didn't enter the house, for I was afraid Chachu would come in. Why are you running away from me? And Chachu, your own Chachu. He spoke loudly. I heard him saying something else, which I could not quite understand. For 3 hours, I hid behind a bush. The butterflies didn't interest me. It appeared they spied on me and would report back to Chachu about his grave digger. After this incident, I avoided Chachu as much as possible. One rainy morning, 5 of us classmates were wading happily through ankle-deep water. There were other children, too. It was Chachu who came to our help by warning us of a nala, a canal ahead. Chachu is really great, said Talipu. I could only nod my head. One evening, when we were playing on a sand mound, Talipu boasted, I'll catch hold of Chachu's neck when I grow stronger one day. But he has no neck, retorted Ahmadi. All of them laughed, but I did not. Chachu's head is like a truck's headlight, said Renu. There was another ripple of laughter. This time I smiled, a feeble, artificial smile. Here comes Chachu, cried Shankar. I broke into a cold sweat, but thank God it was only a joke. My heart was still pounding. I stood first in my class in the first quarterly test. Uncle patted me on the back. Aunt gave me a piece of sweet bread. My friends demanded a treat. Chachu, too, came to congratulate me. On seeing him, I shut myself in the bathroom, but I could hear him talking to Uncle and Aunt. Where's our little nephew? Our good nephew, asked Chachu. He must be playing outside, said Uncle. I'll give him a prize if he stands first in his final examination, announced Chachu. Did I hear him right? I felt proud and decided to step out. But when I saw Chachu at a distance, I beat a hasty retreat. One afternoon, I was watching a juggler's show. Is my grave ready, Pashu? A voice asked from behind. Without looking back, I ran from the scene. I was sure Chachu would one day catch hold of me and punish me. In the half-yearly test, too, I stood first, in spite of the fact that I deliberately left 2 questions in one paper unanswered. Once again, my friends and others flocked to our house to congratulate me. My parents too sent me a letter of congratulation. Everyone was happy. Thanks heavens Chachu didn't come this time. That night, Uncle told me, Chachu is quite generous to the poor. Does he really help them? I asked. Yes, he does, said Uncle. Also, he loves children. I was stunned. Then, why does he frighten us? I asked. Maybe for the fun of it. Does Chachu beat those who don't study? Uncle smiled, shaking his head. But Aunt hastened to say, Chachu never spares those who do not obey their elders. Examinations over, I went back to my parents. I knew I would have to discontinue my studies as there was no high school in my village. Moreover, my father had a limited income. I did not want to return to Khuni Sarhala because of Chachu. Deep in my heart, I did have a sneaking regard for him. I cursed myself for being so afraid of him. The results were out. Pashu, you have broken the school record. You got more than 80%. Uncle himself brought us the good news, and everyone was so happy. I was thrilled. But when he said, Chachu has not forgotten his promise, I turned pale. I'm not going to the village just for the sake of receiving from Chachu a gift of a couple of notebooks and pencils, I said curtly but firmly. Chachu won't eat you, said Uncle. A present is a present, however small, said Father. Mother intervened. Pashu won't go now. He'll go there after some time with me. I know Chachu loves children. The next week, a message came from Sarhala. Chachu is ill. He wants to see Pashu. I thought it was only an excuse. I didn't go. But I thought of Chachu and prayed for his recovery. 3 days later, another person came from Sarhala. Chacha Chowdhary has sent this so that Pashu can pursue his studies, said the messenger, thrusting a few currency notes into my hands. Why has he sent money? Isn't he well? These questions raced through my mind as my eyes well up with tears. How's my Chachu? I'll go to him. I'm not afraid of him anymore. I cried, quite overwhelmed by now. Mother counted the money. 500 rupees. Chachu has no child of his own and feels lonely, said the man from the village. He loves all the children and is always helping the needy. I'll go there. I'll study there, I said with tears pouring down my cheek. Lovely story, children. Sometimes we are scared of some particular elder, listening about them from others. But we can try them out and know them ourselves before we judge them. Like Pashu was misjudging Chacha Chowdhary. He was such a kind man. I hope you've liked the story, children. Then you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, press the bell icon and write to me how you like the story. And till then, be good like Pashu. Study, be good. And I will come back soon with another story to narrate. Till then, thank you for listening to the story. Bye-bye.